For over 600 years, the Ottoman Empire ruled across Europe, Asia, and Africa. It conquered powerful kingdoms, controlled major trade routes, and became one of the strongest empires in world history. But how did a small Turkish state rise to dominate 3 continents? And what finally caused its collapse? This is the story of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire began in the late 13th century in Anatolia, in modern-day Turkey. At that time, the region was divided into small Turkish states after the decline of the Seljuk Empire. Among these small states was one led by a warrior named Osman I. Osman was a skilled military leader who fought against the weakening Byzantine Empire. His followers became known as the Ottomans, named after Osman himself. What started as a small state slowly expanded through battles, alliances, and strong leadership. The Ottomans were highly disciplined fighters, and their influence grew rapidly across Anatolia. After Osman's death, his son Orhan continued expanding Ottoman territory by capturing important cities and strengthening the state. As Ottoman power increased, the Byzantine Empire became weaker and more isolated. The Ottomans surrounded many Byzantine territories and slowly pushed deeper into southeastern Europe. One of the biggest turning points in world history came in 1453. Sultan Mehmed II launched a massive attack on Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. The city was protected by enormous walls and had survived many invasions for centuries. But Mehmed came prepared. The Ottoman army used huge cannons capable of destroying parts of the city walls. After weeks of intense fighting, Ottoman soldiers finally entered the city on May 29, 1453. Constantinople fell, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. The victory shocked Europe and transformed the Ottoman Empire into a global superpower. Mehmed II became known as Mehmed the Conqueror, and Constantinople later became Istanbul, one of the greatest cities in the empire. Following this victory, the Ottoman Empire expanded rapidly across Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. At its height, the empire controlled territories across 3 continents and ruled over millions of people from different cultures, religions, and ethnic groups. One of the greatest Ottoman rulers was Suleiman the Magnificent. Under Suleiman's rule during the 16th century, the empire reached the peak of its power. Trade flourished, the military became stronger, and the empire gained enormous wealth and influence. The Ottomans built magnificent mosques, palaces, bridges, and schools. Ottoman architecture and culture became famous across the world. The empire also controlled important trade routes connecting Europe and Asia, making it one of the richest powers of its time. At the same time, the Ottoman military was feared throughout Europe. Elite soldiers known as the Janissaries became one of the strongest military forces in the world. Ottoman armies fought major wars against European kingdoms such as the Habsburgs, Venice, and Russia. One of the most famous events was the Siege of Vienna. The Ottomans attempted to capture Vienna, one of Europe's most important cities. Although they came close, they failed to fully conquer it. After this period, the balance of power slowly began to change. European nations were advancing rapidly in science, technology, and military strength. New weapons, stronger navies, and industrial growth gave European powers a major advantage over time. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire struggled with internal political problems and corruption within the government. Some sultans were strong leaders, but others lacked the ability to manage such a massive empire effectively. Economic difficulties also began affecting the empire. Expensive wars and declining trade weakened Ottoman finances, while unrest started growing in different regions under Ottoman control. At the same time, European kingdoms were becoming more united and organized against Ottoman expansion. The empire that had once terrified Europe was now beginning to face stronger resistance than ever before. Despite these growing challenges, the Ottoman Empire remained one of the most influential powers in the world for many years. The Ottoman Empire was still powerful, but major challenges were beginning to rise both inside and outside the empire. In Part 2, we'll explore the empire's decline, internal struggles, and the events that finally led to its collapse.